Hey, everybody, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Monday. It's Mugshot Monday. That means we've got another Love After Lockup crime story. This week it is Destiny and Michael. Now, Keisha, when I saw Michael, I was like, not Michael of Is
Mm.
You Ovulating? That's how I was
Oh
concerned.
God, no.
Then I
Oh,
remembered it was
no.
Montana Mills.
No, if it had been the other Michael, we would have had subtitles the whole entire
Good,
episode.
good
So we
point.
could know what the hell he was saying. No, this was Mike. This is Mike when he looked really fucking hot
Yep.
before Justine gave him 15 kids and he was eating potatoes with every single meal because he does not carry his new weight well. You know, some people can carry their weight well. He
Yeah.
does not carry the weight well, and he got that hideous haircut. So this was nice to see him, the old Mike, when I want to lick his nose.
Yes. The nose is still good. He's still cute, even though he has put on some pounds.
It's not even the pound so much; it's that haircut is just bad.
When we see his mugshot, like the worst
Mhm.
mugshot that he had,
Mhm.
it's not good. It's not
It's
good.
not a good mugshot at all. Mm-mm.
It doesn't show how
He could
cute
have
he
done
really
better.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, he could
Mhm.
have done a lot better. Yeah, he needs to go to the Portia Williams School of Mugshots so he can know how
Yeah.
to take a good mugshot. Yeah,
Or even like Paris Hilton has a good one.
there's there's a lot of people who have really good ones. Oh, I was gonna text you that. Are you watching the new? No, I can't remember her name.
Okay. A girl, boy, reality show,
Reality show,
documentary.
Denise.
Denise. Okay.
Yes,
No, I have heard it's worth a watch. I've heard it's
it,
easy breezy, light and airy.
it is easy breezy. And after watching 2 episodes of it, I'm like, if she can have a reality TV show, so can I.
Well, I sent you that link the other day on your Instagram, which was like, "Hey, I'm a reality TV
Yeah,
producer. I'm looking for people." And I was like, "I know who to send it to."
already done it. Yes, and I. She does. Denise Richards does not get enough credit. She is one of the prettiest women in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Like she's just. I mean, even now she's really, really pretty. She has aged well, but when she was in her heyday, whew, man,
She's always
she
had
was
that
something.
turned down mouth like she's mad.
She does, but it
Mm.
went well because she had the turn up nose.
Oh, okay.
It balanced it out a little bit. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of other podcasters do reviews of it. And I was like, all right. And they were like, you can
It's good.
literally be on your iPad, be paying your taxes, watch this show, and watch TikTok all at the same time. Like
No, you have to pay attention. It's good, but it is an easy watch. It really is, but it was surprisingly good.
I have to tell you that last night, which was we're recording on Sunday, so last night was
Mhm.
Saturday, I took the night for myself. I didn't take a note on anything. I caught up on The Traitors. I had 2 episodes of that to
Okay.
watch because I had to watch the
Okay.
finale and the reunion, and then I
Mhm.
caught up on White Lotus,
Okay.
and I'm
Okay.
feeling good about that. I'm not caught up on Yellow Jackets. I've had to put it to the back burner, but that's
It's
okay.
been slow.
It's not been, I think, as exciting as the first season was, so it's okay.
No.
I'm still gonna watch it, but it's
I'm still watching it, but it's slow, but I feel like it's gonna pick up. It's gotta pick up. Like tonight's episode has to pick it up a little bit.
so
So
how
yeah.
many episodes have there been? There's been are we talking about White Lotus or Yellow Jackets?
I don't watch White Lotus. I don't even know what it's about.
Okay,
Yellow
Yellow
Jackets. I
Jacket.
think
There's 4 or
tonight is
5.
episode 4 or maybe 5. So it's gotta pick up speed.
Yeah, because I think I watched 1 through 3, so I'm a couple behind, but that's okay because
Oh, you're not far behind at all.
tonight we have we will be watching live. We'll be watching the Love Is Blind reunion, and then that recap will be out. What did I say? Monday morning. It'll be out Monday morning
Okay, so I'm so glad you said that
because you forgot you
because
had to watch it tonight.
I totally forgot I had to watch it tonight.
uh,
Uh, I don't have to watch it live, right? They're still gonna have it like okay,
yeah, I think once it airs
okay,
live, it'll be
okay.
on Netflix to stream. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that because I would have been totally screwed come tomorrow morning. Okay, got it. So 11 o'clock my time, black shirts.
Yeah, black shirts, and
Okay, good. So
also,
you said
guys yeah, because then the time also changed, so I'm walking around
yes.
this house in a time-space continuum, like, I don't
Yeah.
know because Dave went out of town, and when he goes out of town, the clocks don't get changed, So if I look at my phone, I'm
Oh,
okay. But if I look in the
yeah,
kitchen, I'm like, what
you're
time
screwed.
is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Mary Kay, even I changed the oven and the microwave clocks.
I don't, whenever the time switches over, by the time I am awake, he has gone through the whole house and done it.
I've already done it.
I don't
Okay.
have a
Okay.
choice. I don't have a
Got
choice.
you.
And he had to get up this morning like at 5 to fly to California. So I guess he changed his clock. I don't know. To me, I cannot get a time zone. I can't get an Eastern Standard. I
Yeah.
can't get daylight savings. Somebody did tell me that if you put EST when
Hmm.
it's not EST, then you look stupid. Like if I say like, hey, we're going to do 12 p.m. EST, then I look stupid
Hmm.
because I should be saying ET or EDT. I'm like, you know what? How about just my time and
Hmm.
your time? How about that?
Yeah, that works perfectly for me in our situation. It really does. Now I get all fucked up whenever I record something with Kimberly because that's like 2 hours like
Behind for you.
behind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I get all confused with that.
How about next week? I'm recording with Brian Moylan, and he's 5 hours ahead.
Mm-mm,
I know. I know.
mm-mm.
I know. All right. Who cares about this? Let's talk about these people. Now, I didn't ask you to, so I don't know if you have additional information on anybody, but specifically Destiny, I was interested in. I think she skipped a couple of children that she had that she didn't mention.
She skipped like 12 kids
I think
because
she's
I
literally
think she
got
has
4.
said six. I think she has 6 kids.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, I'm looking at these timelines, and I know she
Hmm.
says all my children are with family members or whatever.
Hmm.
But is that true? Because a couple seem to be taken right into CPS to foster care, which probably means they were babies and adopted.
So yeah, so she's talking about the other ones. Yeah. So the only update that I know about Destiny is that she had another baby.
Since we've seen her on the show when she also had a baby that wasn't mouth breather. What's his name? Scott? What's his name? No, what's his name? Sean.
Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I never thought he was a mouth breather. I never got it when you guys would say that.
Because he looks like this. Huh, huh.
Silly.
Yeah, well, that's what he looked like. I can't help what his
My
face looks like.
God.
All right. So Destiny, we start with her. She's 32, and
The hard 32.
she says, you want a fucking interview? I'm going to give you a fucking interview. And here's what I noticed on the clapboard,
Okay.
which I should have been noticing all along, and maybe I'll even go back. The interview date of this was January 10th, 2024. So the interview date was 1 year ago, about a year ago.
So, okay, but hold on.
Mhm.
Because did it have the same date for Mike? Because
His was 2023.
yeah, because there's been a lot of changes with him. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, okay,
More
okay.
kids, all that.
More
Yeah.
kids, and he just looks different. So, okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So what I should have been doing all along was looking on the clapboard of the date of the sit down interview to give us a little more context, because especially
Hmm.
like with Mikey, it was like, oh, he still lives with Chelsea. I was like, it would
Hmm.
have taken nothing for them to put up some extra words to be like, he has since left Chelsea and now lives back in
Right.
wherever, you know?
But
'Cause it's
that's
not,
okay because we provided that information to our audience.
I know, it's just a quick Google. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was take 8. Date is January 10th, 2024, take 8. And she's sitting in a warehouse for camper products, campers.
I don't
Why?
know what production is doing with the where they're shooting these interviews at. I mean, last week we had a possible either green screen of a wig
Right.
store or an
Uh-huh.
actual wig store, which that kind of that I clocked that because it was,
Right. There
he
was
was
no
giving her bad
explanation
wigs.
for it. It was no
Yeah,
explanation for it. Right.
but it's just like okay, I can see it because of the wigs, but this one
Seems
I
like
don't
she would
get
have been
it.
sitting like in a bank. You know what I
Something
mean?
like that. Yeah, yeah.
Something that, or in a stationery store, or like,
I was about to say that. Yeah, no, mm-mm. This was
interesting.
free.
Um, so I was like, does she work at a place that sells campers? You know what I mean? Like that would just some context would have been, but whatever. We're not gonna,
Who knows?
I don't know why we complained about these things. We know we're not getting answers. So she says she's done about 13 years of prison time in her adult life. We see all her mug shots and they are rough. The first one, she looks like she's 12. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
yeah, because
And the
she is really,
eyebrows have always been bad.
yeah, but I mean, she is pretty. I mean, she does have the bone structure to be really pretty.
Yeah, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one.
Okay. So, born and raised in Redding, California by her mother and her stepdad, Glenn. So we go to the house where she lived until age 13. She says these were the
Mm-hmm.
worst days of her life. Now, she's showing this dude this house, and we don't find out who the dude is right away, but she's with this
Right.
dude. She's showing him the house where she lived with her mom and her stepdad, Glenn. Her uncle Kenny had his trailer in the back. Now, that's the only indication we could get have anything to do with the trailer.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't put her.
Yeah.
Okay. So, she shared a room with her sister Brandy. She shows where the room was. So I was just like, this dude has like 2 face tats, terrible teeth, neck tats. Are we going to find out who he is? So
yeah, the teeth were. Whew,
it's rough.
that was rough.
That was
I think there's been some drug usage in his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Uncle Kenny was Glenn's brother, her stepdad's brother. Between the ages of 11 and 13, he would drug her and molest her. He was on meth. He was on coke. And this went on for a few years. And he told her, if you ever tell your parents, they won't believe you anyway.
And I think he, as shitty as it sounds like her parents were, I think he probably was correct.
Yeah. And she said,
or they didn't give a shit.
Right. Or they knew and they didn't care.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, it kind of feels like they knew and didn't care. But I could be wrong. That's just a feeling I have.
Because we met her mom, and I believe we met her sister Brandy too.
At some point we did, because I can remember her. It was a scene in the kitchen. She was with her mom. Someone was fixing cereal. Don't ask me why that has stuck in my brain.
Yeah.
So, and that's when she had one of her newer babies, or she was getting ready to have that baby or something like that.
That's right. That's right.
So,
and also we met her mom when she got out and met with Sean, and they were like immediately went to like a cafe, and she went in the bathroom and changed.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah. And the mom and the sister were there. She said all she wanted, of course, as a kid was her parents' love and attention. So when she was 13, she got pregnant by Uncle Kenny.
Disgusting.
She told a few people in her family, and he did get arrested and sentenced to 25 to life.
That's great. That whatever state they're in, they're a hard sentencing state, because we've been in some other states and they're completely lenient. And I don't even think you get that much time where I'm at for molesting a child.
Right. This is California, so I don't know, but there was lots of evidence, so it wasn't. She said there was lots of evidence, and then she's pregnant.
Well, there was a whole child,
She had to testify when she was 7 months pregnant because he took it all the way to trial. What a piece of shit.
What a piece of shit. He really just was like, she's lying, she's lying, she's lying.
Right. Here's a 13-year-old. So, that was, obviously traumatizing. She says, she was literally a baby having a baby, and she only has one picture of her and the little girl. She signed her rights away when the baby was 9 months old. Okay. So she doesn't see that baby.
So I wonder why
that baby is, she signed her rights away when the baby was 9 months old. She has no other pictures. So she doesn't know anything about that. That baby is not with a family member.
Oh, I don't think so either. I was just surprised that she did not immediately give that child up for adoption. Like, I'm surprised it was 9 months.
I wonder if she was like, I can do it. And then around 9 months, probably her mother called CPS on her. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So after that, she says she turned to drugs and crime. At 14, she started with heroin. She really loves heroin. So to really talk about heroin, this
is what's surprising, because she went straight to heroin. Usually it's like I started smoking cigarettes, then I started smoking weed, then I tried Xanax and bars, but she went straight to the heavy stuff.
She's like, it's heroin. In our long history and experience of people and drugs, it usually starts from pain pills, and then you can't afford the pain pills anymore, so you have to go to heroin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nope. She said, I'm gonna
go
big or go home.
That's right. So meth was her number 2. She would do meth if she had to, but she really preferred heroin. So she started running away from home a lot. She was introduced to the fraud game when she was running away. So at around 14 or 15, she met Jeremiah. 14 or 15. They became like Bonnie and Clyde. Now we see a timeline. We still don't know that this guy in the car, his name is Jeremiah.
Right.
We see a timeline. Born in 91, 2004 had her first child. 2005 started in the drug use, and 2006 is when she starts mailboxing. Now, she explains mailboxing. We get lots of, how to mailbox. She and Jeremiah were business partners at the time in 2006 when she was 14. They were business partners.
I love the way that she said they were business partners. Like,
yeah, I was like, you're
more like partners in crime.
You're actually supposed to be in 9th grade history class right now. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I've got a whole business partner over here. And when they were showing those mailboxing scenes, my anxiety was going up.
Because you're thinking about people taking stuff out of your mailbox?
No, I'm thinking about, like, I always picture myself in a situation, me going up to the mailbox to steal someone's mail, how paranoid I would be.
Yeah.
I'd be so fucking scared.
Yeah.
Like, are you, like, just, I don't know. It's just, you're going into, like, anyone can see you. Like, I would honestly think there was a cop behind me. I would think that, like, everyone had, like, a camera outside their home, and I was caught immediately. But
in 2006, it wasn't, the cameras weren't so big as they are now. And what was interesting too, when she was talking about, she would go through the mail to find something and leave the other stuff there so they wouldn't notice that all their mail was gone. I was like, well, that took a little extra time, and you're just standing there.
Yeah, she left all the magazines and stuff, the good stuff, so they didn't have to miss out on, like, any sales or coupons or anything like that. I mean, she did some good.
It's crazy. I was like, it all makes sense, but my point to what you're saying is, the longer you're standing there,
the more suspicious you look.
Yeah. So she says last year she and Jeremiah hooked up again, and now they're together. And then we see this giant tattoo across her hand that says Jeremiah. I'm like, oh, I'm sure you won't regret that.
And that had to hurt too, across the hand.
Yeah, it did. He says in a good month they could make $50K. Sometimes they pull it out, they just get $20. We get it inside the mailbox camera.
I know.
Which was, I was like, okay, they stuck a GoPro in there.
$50,000 from stealing people's mail.
Yeah.
$50,000. Some people make $50,000 in a year.
I know.
Working hard.
It was interesting too about how she was like, if the red flag was up, that meant something was going out. Usually checks. That's smart. So now I'm like, I'm taking everything right to the post office.
Well, because Dave and my dad still like to write checks. And
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And Dave also will never leave the checks out for the mail guy because he thinks that taking it to the post office is faster, which it's never faster. It's always faster if we leave it outside the house. I don't know why, because I think they take it more to a central mailbox location rather than, but we always have this conversation because I don't want to leave them out there. Well, now I know why, because you got people like Destiny coming up to take it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what my dad does because he retired from the Postal Service. So he thinks he knows any and everything having to do with anything postal. So I just kind of,
well, he does.
Listen, not a shit. I guess he wasn't a mailman.
Well, still, he knows a lot. He knows more than we do.
I guess.
You got to ask him about Destiny and how often that happens.
I think I will bring that up to him. And I also need to tell him that Dave also does the same thing.
Yeah. And Dave is 56.
You and Dave.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So should we get the checking account information? Should we get credit card information? And somehow she purchased a master mailbox key. So then she could just do like the postman does, open it up and get all the mailboxes in the apartment complexes.
Mary Payne, whenever for some odd reason, sometimes I'll have James's card or something like that because I'm known to lose like a debit card or whatever. Yeah. I'm super paranoid when I go somewhere and purchase something with his card. I'm like, they're going to ask for my ID. They're going to be like, are you James? Or, you know what I mean? But she's out there stealing people's credit cards and using them with zero fear.
No, zero fear.
Yeah.
We get a lawyer explaining to us why this is a crime. We get it. We don't need you, fake lawyer. So she says she committed fraud from age 13 to 30. This is a good run.
How old is she now?
32. Yeah. Okay. Probably now she's 34, but 32 when this was. Okay. And then everything went to shit. she tells us how she learned how to forge checks. She became a pro at it. She would go get checks from a stationery store. I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know that you could do that either. Are you sure that's exactly what she said?
Uh-huh. She said, I loved a stationery store. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know, and somebody will tell me, I don't know if this is like a business supply stationery and they come like that. And then when you run the checks through, it prints the check number, everything. Like you must have a program on your computer if you're like in accounting of a big company.
Right.
It prints it
Yeah.
out like that. Because I know I used to work in the summers. I worked for my dad's company and I worked in accounting, which is scary. And because, you know, I can't anything involving, they didn't let me do anything involving numbers, but every morning,
Thank God you
every
saved the
morning
business
they would have the
by
checks,
not doing numbers.
they would have the checks printed out and somebody, me or somebody, whoever was available would take them over to my dad's office and he would look at everyone and hand sign
And
them.
sign it.
But it was a huge printer machine that did these checks. So I do wonder if that
I
was
think
what it
it had to
was.
be something like that because
Yeah.
she looked like she had like a book of checks. Like
Yeah.
there were several of them. So let's just go with that. I think that's
But
what
it was interesting showing us how she was like, oh, well, this plastic da 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 type is very hard. But if you have a razor blade, she shows us how she'd lift it off.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I guess lay it on the new check. And then I guess she would like hair dry it to warm it up to make it go on it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Do you know how many holes that check would have in it if I were trying to razor blade like ink off of it? No, or plastic or whatever it was. Like my patience would be like, I cannot do this. This is too much.
And then you're on
Give me,
drugs.
and I was going to say, I would be like, give me a hit of heroin in order for
Right.
me to make it through trying to do this because that did not look easy. But I guess when
No.
that's your job, you just do it.
You got to have a real steady hand too, you know?
Yeah.
So, okay. So she said doing drugs and doing fraudulent things was like peanut butter and jelly. They just go together. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And at first she would just buy gas or groceries, but then she started buying high-end clothes and handbags. Now we see some pictures and it looks like Hot Topic or Shein to me, but maybe it was high-end to her.
I find it very sad that so many of these stories, like some of their first crimes are having to steal food. It has something to do with food. That is just like,
I know.
So sad.
I was thinking that about Michael because we've heard that from
we've heard it from like, I think almost every single story. I mean, from Mikey to Quaylen, Brittany, all of it had to do with like stealing food
to get,
which is so sad
food, to feed themselves or their siblings. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she said first she just thought like, I'll just get gas and groceries. She started buying high-end clothes, handbags. And, you know, she said she could make $150,000 in a year, just cash. Damn. So she decided she would make a new check and just go buy a car for $28,000. So the cops came, they boxed her in and she was like, yeah, they like pit maneuvered me. And she tells how that goes. Then she does a reenactment with really dramatic music. It was like, I was like, okay. Yeah. It was super dramatic. And she's like, then they film her like sitting in the back of the car she was just riding in with her hands like, and then I was in the cop car with I was like, we get it. Wow.
This is not a Steven Spielberg film. You don't have to do all of that. We got it. Like, we get it. You got arrested.
And the way she got caught was that she had given a friend of hers $17,000 for a lawyer. And then that person paid the lawyer, but the lawyer had to report it because it was $17,000 either in a check or cash. That got flagged by the IRS, and that's how she got caught eventually.
And then her friend gave her up.
Yeah, well, I would too.
That's a shit. I mean, she
was already in trouble,
like,
that friend.
Yeah, that sucks. But here's the thing: I would have been like, I would have gave her up, but I would have called her and said, "Look, this is the situation. Like, I fucked up. They're coming for you. I had to give them your name. I had no other choice. They're coming for you." Like, I would have been that friend. Like, yes, I fucked you over, but then I'm going to try to make it up to you a little bit.
Her friend
this friend did nothing.
Her friend was probably in jail. Oh. So she was charged with 598 counts of check fraud.
James actually goes, how many did they say? I said, no, you heard correctly. 598. That's a lot.
I did rewind it.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
because she had everything in the back seat of her brand new car, all of her stuff. So she took a plea bargain for 19 counts of felony fraud, and the other charges were dismissed. She was sentenced to 9 years and 8 months and did 3 years and 8 months. I mean, she knows this shit like down, like to the
She does.
month.
Yeah.
All right, we get more timeline. In 2014, she's released. In 2017, she's arrested. In 2018, she's released. In 2018, she has another child. In 2018, she's arrested. In 2019, she's bonded out. In 2021, she's released again. So she tells us in 2014, she was released. She was on probation. And she said, I kept getting in trouble. And the cops, they just couldn't leave me alone. Couldn't leave me alone.
I mean, because that's kind of like their job. I don't know. The cops keep bugging me.
It's just, So she says, but all I did was learn how to be a better criminal.
I believe it.
So she was released again around age 23 or 24. She had an ankle monitor. And she tells this long drawn out story, but basically she had cut off her ankle monitor.
Right. And wasn't there something with the baby?
Yeah.
Around that time too?
Yeah. 2018, her water broke. So she had to go to the hospital because previously she had C-sections.
Oh,
so
yeah,
when her
that's
water
true.
broke, she had to go right to the hospital. But she had no record of existing with any prenatal care or anything because she was on the run and giving all these fake names.
Right.
So then she had her son in the hospital. Everything was fine. She was breastfeeding him. She was all excited.
Yeah.
But her friend came to, I hope her friends are shitting on her right and left.
They fucking suck. Like she needs to level up when it comes to friends.
This is like the third friend that's turned on her, right?
Yeah.
So her friend came to see her and told the nurses her real name and that she was on the run. God.
Why? Why did the friend do that?
I wonder if already the cops had figured out whatever name she's given us like doesn't exist. And there's no record of this person ever having prenatal care where she said she did. So they were already figuring it out. So when this friend said, oh, I'm here to see Destiny Folsom, they're like, who? We don't have anybody by that name. And she's like, she told me she was in room 313. And they're like, all right. And they figured it out.
Something's up.
The cops came to her room and Child Protective Services immediately took her son away and put him in foster care. And she wasn't allowed to say goodbye. Now, is she telling us that she's still in touch with this child? We don't know.
I don't think I'm gonna go out on a limb and say probably not.
Probably not. She says it was
unless it went to unless that baby is one of the babies that went to a family member. There's so many kids here.
There's so many kids, and she's saying the child was in foster care. Does that mean then an aunt or an uncle or a cousin or a sister came forward and took the kid?
We're skipping some kids too.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
There's others. Yeah.
I'm saying
why they only highlighted these, I don't know.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. How many kids does she have?
I honestly remember there being like 5 or 6 kids because we talked about it at one point and I'm like, there's 6. She's got a lot of them.
And they're only telling us about 2.
So I wonder if they're only telling us about the 2 that she has 0 contact with.
Right.
And all the other ones, I guess she has the newer ones. And then all the others are with family members. Who fucking knows? It's Destiny.
I don't know.
It's Destiny.
So she got sentenced to 8 years for the escape charge. She's been in prison 5 times. We see some charges: possession of controlled narcotics, false identification to an officer, multiple identity thefts, obviously failure to appear on a felony, escape, blah, blah, blah. She says she was released in January of 2021. That's when we see her with Scott.
Sean.
Whatever.
Sean. Your favorite mouth breather. Sean.
And that was the last time she was in custody in 2021. Now we see her in Corning, California. She's going to get ice cream with Jeremiah. That's when we get a good look at those chompers he's working with. She finally hit rock bottom. When she finally hit rock bottom, she realized what was important was her sobriety, her children, and her freedom. Her kids are all with family members, and she's in contact with all of them. Questionable. And she does hope she can be a part of their everyday life in the future. If she's actually been sober for going on 3-4 years,
That's pretty
she
good.
should be able to have more contact with them if she's been able to prove herself. And maybe she works at the camper shop. We don't know.
I have no idea.
Jeremiah says the Destiny he knows today is like 100% different from the one he knew before. And let's hope he's also on the straight and narrow. They seem like a happy couple.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell with Destiny. She just looks dead behind the eyes.
Totally dead. But who else do we say?
Yeah.
Oh, at Lisa, totally dead behind the eyes.
There's just nothing there.
It's rough.
Just roaming through life.
It's rough. In her talking head, she says, I never was able to work through that sexual abuse that I went through. And now I'm trying to work through it, in therapy, so I won't be a bitter person. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now we see the end card, which is Destiny and Jeremiah live in San Diego, and she hopes to go back to school to become a counselor. Destiny is off probation and has not had any new charges since 2019. So if that is all accurate, she's going on 5 years. That's good.
That's pretty good. That is
pretty good, Destiny.
Pretty good. But she does need to ask the Lord for forgiveness for how she treated poor Sean. She treated that man like fucking donkey shit.
But he also took it and liked it. And left his 5 children, if you recall, in Las Vegas to be with her.
Yeah.
And then left his 5 children.
Sarah. He left them for Sarah. Remember, he moved away for Sarah.
He also moved away for Destiny first.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because she was in California, remember? And he's in Las Vegas.
I thought they lived in Las Vegas.
I think she was in Las Vegas briefly, but I don't think she ever lived with him there. No, I think that was all smoke and mirrors. She's definitely not allowed to leave the state. Okay. Michael Persad, age 36, also known as Montana Millz, father of 8? 8?
He's got 3. She had 3.
6.
Did I really just do fingers?
You did, but I was counting on your fingers while I was like, go ahead. Keep
counting. We're at 8 kids.
8 kids. Okay.
Yeah.
Has he had a vasectomy?
No, that's wrong. He had 4 kids.
I thought
2 big kids, 2 little kids. And she had her 3 kids, and they had 10 kids.
No.
Hold on. 1, 9. 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're right.
9.
I was a finger off.
9
yeah.
kids.
I mean, but when it's 9, it might as well be 20.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking kids running around.
It's a lot of kids. Now, I don't think one of the little one gets to come very often because there's a different mom. Nova.
Right. It's Nova. Yes.
Yeah. Nova and Mason. We got Michael, Melody, Nova and Mason. And we know Nova is from the different mom because she said, I'm not doing the M names and you can't make me.
Yeah, I don't blame her. Good for her. Good for her.
Yes. Now, we know that her kids are Bentley, Santana, and Kylie. They had Manhattan, Barbie, another M name. And then the baby's name was like Millionaire. What was the baby's name?
Bills or something totally fucking stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. Millionaire Bills. Yeah. Something stupid. Okay.
Something that he'll never be.
We don't know.
We don't know.
All right. So where we see him talking is in a recording studio, which makes sense.
That makes sense. Yes.
Now we see his clapboard. It says 2023. He says when he was young, he was addicted to the money and the fast life. We get his timeline. 1987, the year I graduated high school. He was born in the Bronx.
He was born? Oh, geez.
Born in the Bronx. Then in 1995, his mom wanted a better life and moved them to St. Croix when he was 8 years old to be far away from the dad. And he's just like, my parents.
Like, how bad was the dad? Like,
we've seen him. He seems fine.
He seemed fine. And Michael has never said anything horrible about him. But then again, we've met his mom and she could be a little bit dramatic. So I can see her literally moving to another country to get away from a man because she can't. She's weird. And I can't say she's witch-like because remember I got in trouble for saying she was witch-like that one time?
Yeah, you did. I remember that.
Yeah.
So they moved to the Virgin Islands. Sister whose name I can never remember, but there she was. What's her name? Can you remember? It'll come to you. I can see you ruminating on it. Is ruminating the right word? Okay. It's coming to her, guys. It's coming to her. She's thinking. Hmm.
It's like a Raven Baxter moment when I think I can see into the future. What
Uh-huh.
is her freaking name?
It'll come to us. It'll come
It'll
to one
come
of
to
us.
us. Right when we're in the middle of talking about something else, we'll be like, oh, that's
Yeah,
her
yeah.
name. Is
Happens
it
all the time.
Anne?
No, that's the wife. The wife's name is Anne, remember? Thank you. That was good. That was a clue. The wife's name is Anne. Or was her name Anne?
I think her name is Anne.
Okay.
I think it's Anne.
So the sister says, yeah, we lived like in a horse barn. Mom was
That
doing her
is
best.
crazy.
I know. I guess they just had no place to live, and somebody said that you can live in this barn
Like, how do you move to another country
with no place to live.
with no place to live at all, no job, and you're living in a horse barn?
Terrible. And so he says, yeah, for a young age, I got a taste of how hard life could be. And I
That's
was
pretty
just,
hard.
that's pretty bad. He goes, I was stealing
Yeah.
stealing from grocery stores just so my sister and I could have food. And he had a buddy whose mom was a cop. And he and the buddy overheard the mom talking about an upcoming bust that was coming on, like with a house they were going to bust, with had tons
Right.
of pot in it. So these two kids, he's now like 12, they broke in and took all this pot. Now, of course, they don't realize like 20 pounds of marijuana is a kingpin situation who's going to come
I
get
was just
you.
about to say, like, this is just not stealing like a joint off the street and selling it to your friend.
Yeah.
This is big fucking time right here. Like, big.
Yeah. Yeah. They're 12 years old. 20 pounds at that time would have a street value of $18,000. But I went a step further, and I'll tell you that it's a $33,000 street value today.
Look at you and your
Yeah.
drug dealing ways.
No. Okay. Those drug dealers found out and came after him, so they had to leave the island.
I wonder how they found out that these kids did this.
And they were walking around bragging about it because they're 12. And they were trying to like sell this, and probably
Right.
the drug dealers going around, where'd you get it? And they're like, these two little
Yeah.
punks came up and sold it to us. Yeah.
Man, that was pretty damn brave though for them to go and do that.
And I think they had no idea like how much that was, how much it was worth, any of that.
And the kingpin obviously had no kind of security system going on.
No. And so he had to leave the whole family. He had to leave the island.
Yeah.
So he went to live with his dad when he was 13 because his dad's gonna like fix him up. And so
Yeah.
this was in 2000, the year I got married. He moved to
Wow.
New York at age 13. So he started selling crack, making $300 a day. I don't think Montana Millz ever did drugs ever. I think he was just the dealer, which is usually how it goes.
And I don't think Montana Millz graduated from high school either.
No, definitely not.
Nor
Definitely
did
not.
Destiny. I was thinking about them like these kids didn't even make it through. Have any of the ones that we have covered graduated from high school?
Louis was in college. Remember?
Gotta love Louis. Gotta love Louis.
But
The rest of them, I don't think so.
I bet, and I wish they would have told us, I bet all of them got a GED in jail. I feel like
Okay.
Destiny during one of her seasons told us she got a GED in jail.
Well, if she's trying to become a counselor, she
Mhm.
has had to do something because
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's just so sad just walking around and you like I was afraid to even skip school. And these kids
Yeah.
completely just don't go to school at all.
I saw this hilarious TikTok. I sent it to Anna, and I may have posted it on my Instagram. Follow me at Pink Shade Pod. It was like when I was 14, I would like steal my parents' car to go to Daiquiri World, and my daughter literally can't go to the grocery store and pay for her own groceries because she's too nervous. Like,
That's
Mhm.
what you know how our girls are the same.
Mhm.
Skylar had needed to call the pharmacy and damn near lost her mind. Like, what do I say? Who do I ask for? I'm like, the
Yeah.
pharmacist. You tell them your name, your birth date, what the medicine is. She goes, I can't believe you guys won't do this. Like, I refuse to do it for her. I'm like, you have got to do. Shut my anxiety. You would have thought I told her to go steal a fucking a spaceship
Yeah.
and fly it to the moon the way that she was behaving about this. I don't understand our children.
Anna needs to get her
I
eyes
just don't get
checked. She needs to get her eyes checked. I go, you need to go and get this done. She goes, I know, but then I have to I don't want to call them.
Yeah, so Skylar wants to get LASIK, and I told her, fine, you can get LASIK, but
Yeah.
you have to call set up why can't she goes, well, what are you doing today? Not making your appointment to go get LASIK surgery? Like,
what am I doing today?
what are
Excuse
you,
me?
yeah, I'm like, she actually said, well, what do you got going on today? Not that. She's like, well, I'm not. Stop this. But she has no problem going to Ulta. She could tell you what
Well,
every aisle in Ulta
yeah.
is, exactly where to find this, what this does for your skin, what color you need to get. She's fine there, but God forbid she make a fucking appointment
Yeah.
to LASIK surgery that we're going to pay for.
I know. I'm going to make a list this week of appointments Anna needs to make. I might have her just sit with it on speaker with her calendar out. So, because I don't know her calendar, how do I know when she can go? You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
God. All right. Back to
Kids.
these. Anyway, these kids are up on the street selling.
They ain't got no problems doing shit.
This guy is stealing $20,000 worth of pot. He's reselling it. So
no anxiety. Nothing is anxiety inducing here.
But I feel like when he's 13 and he's selling crack, making $300 a day, he was going to school because his dad was like really tough on him. Okay. So in 2003, his dad shipped him off to Rhode Island because mom and the sister had moved to Rhode Island now. Mm-hmm. So dad's like, I did this for 3 years. He's insane. I can't deal with his crack dealing ways. So so he went to Rhode Island. So Michael says, my dad was strict, but sorry. Yawn. I'm gonna.
It's early.
Make a timestamp. Cut it out. So Michael says dad was strict, but mom was busy working and didn't pay that much attention. And we've seen this a lot too. And this is not the mom's fault. She's really working to like feed her kids. Yeah. Now he's making up to $5,000 a day, and he was like, "Well, now I got a full career."
I mean, when they start talking about how much they make a day. There's just this small part of my brain that goes,
That sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good.
It sounds damn good.
And so now it's his career. And we find out the reason Providence, Rhode Island is such a good spot for drug dealers is because it's between two highways that go between Massachusetts, a hard word for me to say, and Connecticut. So they're right there. So it's a cut through for a lot of drug dealers. Interesting.
Which is so funny because anytime you see something about Providence, Rhode Island on television, it's all like really cute, boutique-ish looking and like seaside stuff and everything looks like super clean and like it makes you say, I want to go there. But then we hear this side of it. Like, oh.
It's true. And I think when we found out he was from Rhode Island and a lot of his troubles were his federal charges when Rhode Island were like, really? Rhode Island?
Right out of all the places. Yeah.
Now we know why. So we are learning something on this show. So he says when he was dealing, he would only deal with upper crust clients, like people that could only pay over $350. And he stayed off the radar that way because those people really didn't want to get caught.
Right.
So in July of 2006 was his first arrest. He was 19. He was fielding calls and got lazy and told the person just to meet him a few blocks away. Just because he wanted to walk over. So the instructions for the person were stay in the car and I'll come to you. But this girl gets out of the car, comes up to me and he hugs her, which is interesting, to put the drugs in her pocket and she puts the money in his pocket because he was like, what the fuck are you doing? I told you not to get out of the car kind of a thing.
If he were giving me a hug, like, talk dirty to me more. What else did I do wrong? Tell me something else. Just hold on to me tight, tiny dancer. Like, just don't let me go. I mean, can you imagine Montana Millz in his glory fucking giving you a hug and then saying something a little bit like stern in your ear? Like, that turns me on. My ovaries start talking shit. And I'm like, let's go make babies.
And the next thing you know, you got 10 kids.
I know shit. That's how he did it.
That's how he did it.
A little stern to them in their ears, and there you go.
There you go. A starter pack of 4, and then 5 more. So, so he got in the car and counted his money and saw he was short $10.
$10.
$10. He said, so I was greedy and I called her back. I'm like, you need to come back. She pulls up and throws money out of the window at him. And the cops were watching the whole thing. So I guess the cops were waiting to see him do something. And the hug didn't count because they couldn't see what he did.
That's what I was confused. Like, was she part of this whole...
I couldn't figure that out.
It didn't flow. I'm like, okay, so what?
I didn't understand.
because the drugs had already been given to her.
Right.
So when she threw the $10 in there, she could have just been throwing a $10 bill with her phone number on it, saying, call
Right.
me later. It didn't make any kind of sense at all to me, but
Or maybe she did that on purpose because she was like, if I short him $10, he'll call me back and then we'll have to see the money exchange on the street, and she was a part of it. So she goes to throw the money out the window and the cops see the whole thing. He gets arrested. He's 19 in July of 2006. So the cops tell him, like, look, if you just go ahead right now and let us search your apartment, and then it's going to be better for you, because otherwise we're going to have to go get a warrant, and it looks better for you if you just agree. So what does he know?
Always tell them to go get the warrant.
Go get the warrant and then give me some time to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he says, all right. So he took the fall so he wouldn't get anybody else in trouble. Mm-hmm. Now he's in his old apartment where he lived with his mom. I guess that's what this apartment is.
That's what he said. Yeah.
He's showing how it all went down, and he shows how he had sneaker boxes, and that's where he kept the drugs and the money. So he tells the cops, like, that one box has the drugs, and they pull it out and they go, none of the rest of them. He goes, no, just that one. So of course they pick up the next box. It feels heavy. It's full of cash.
Yeah.
I was like, why'd they? Nice try. So anyway, it's all hidden in sneakers. Now, we actually meet his actual attorney.
Finally, someone who actually knows the person. All these other people, I mean, we could have got on there and pretended that, well, I don't know, Lizzie, but this is what.
But I will tell you, if you're sexually abused until you're 10 years old by your dad, it's going to be a problem the rest of your life. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like any of us could have gone on there and said that.
I know.
Like, yeah.
He says, when he grew up, he didn't have any money for cool things like sneakers. So that was one of the first things he started buying. And then that's where he hid the money. And then, of course, we get in his whole like sneaker design business, LOL.
Which was just an epic fail.
Maybe. We don't know. We don't know. Maybe he's a.
Do you see anyone walking around with his shoes on?
No, but
we don't even see him walking around with those shoes on. You wear them 5 times and the bottoms, the sole starts flapping and all that kind of stuff.
And they're like $1,000. Yeah. Yeah.
And then someone saw they were like on Temu.
Yeah. And he just slapped his label on the back or whatever. So he got charged at that time with possession with intent to distribute heroin, and he got sentenced to 7 years. He served 3 months of 7 years and had to
Holy shit.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And he had to do a walk-off for the next 6 years and 9 months. And a walk-off means a conditional release under the supervision of a parole officer. Probably because this is his first anything, and he's so young. They're like, we'll scare him in there for 3 months and he'll walk off the rest of the time, and then he'll never get in trouble again. Well, that's not what happened.
It didn't work.
He got out, hit the streets again. And then we see him over at the Perfection, PERFECKSHUN, Perfection hair salon.
Okay.
And he meets there with his buddy John, and they have pixelated this guy to high heaven and voice changed him.
Like, why even have him on there?
I was like, and he didn't really say much.
I didn't get, like, why could they not have gotten anyone else?
I don't know.
I didn't get it.
Now we meet a DE agent named Louie, who tells us about drug dealers going into different areas that don't have heroin, so they can, of course, be the first one in that market to make money.
Right.
So now Michael, has started selling in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, which explains now why he was in jail in Pennsylvania. Right. It is 9 hours from Providence, Rhode Island. He explains that Lebanon, Pennsylvania had a corrupt police department, so nobody was selling there because nobody had the balls to set up shop because of their corrupt police department. I don't know.
Okay.
Seems like the corrupt police department would just get in with you.
Get involved. Yeah, exactly.
And he went from doing $5 a bag to $20 a bag. So he was really, 4 times. Yeah. And of course, now it's across state lines, so it's a federal offense because he's taking it from Rhode Island. So he says, now I'm on top. I'm on top of the game. I'm making more money than the people above me. And when you're on top, everybody wants your spot. And I don't know who's out to get me, trying to kill me, whatever. He starts, I started getting a lot of money. So I had nice things, and I started being around all these rappers, and I was getting one step closer to my dream of being in music. Okay.
Okay, Montana Millz. Okay.
I still think he's a good rapper. I do.
I don't, and now he's got Justine rapping on songs too, and
That
I'm
was a
just
good song.
like,
That was a good song.
what is it? Goofy? Is that what it was called?
No, it wasn't called Goofy.
No, no. There's a new one out right now. It's called like Goofy.
Oh, I don't know. I just know the one that we saw on the show was pretty good with the two of
That
them.
one was okay, and yeah, I just here we go again. They're
Yeah.
not going to be opening up for Drake. They're,
Or
I don't think
Kendrick Lamar.
I don't think Kendrick Lamar is going to say, "Hey, won't you feature on here like with me real quick?" I don't see that in their future at all. I don't see Kendrick Lamar wearing any of Montana Millz' tennis shoes. I just feel like it is nice to have dreams. It really, really is.
Mhm.
But keep that day job. Keep that day job.
Which they don't tell us, but we know he's like a manager of a
Warehouse
warehouse or
supervisor
something.
or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
So we
Which
made
it would have made more sense for him to be sitting where Destiny was in the warehouse.
That's right. So we meet his producer named Merk. Now there's no mention of that other guy.
None. I'm like, I know Mocha is somewhere pissed the fuck off that there was no mention of him. He did not get in it, but maybe Mocha's in jail. We don't know.
Mocha, that was his name, Mocha.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We find out he's like, man, I've been working with you like 20 years. I don't even know why your name is Montana Millz. He explains it, Tony Montana from Scarface,
Yeah.
And he says, I put everything I did, all my moves in my lyrics, and people were listening to it. So every bad thing he did, he was putting in his lyrics. So just telling the cops what he's doing.
So this is the equivalent of, it always comes back to the Real Housewives franchise.
Okay.
Here we go. You got Jen Shaw, who's committing all these crimes, decides to go on a show to show off her flashy lifestyle. No one can figure out what the fuck she's doing. She's got these people that are like lining up to tell on her. Here it is again. It's like, if you know you are living a life of crime, do not get on a reality TV show flaunting your money.
Yeah.
You're just opening up it's just, you don't do
idea. It. Yeah. He's telling all his moves,
all his business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, life was so good. I got the feeling something was going to go wrong.
But here's another thing though.
Yeah.
How many people were really listening to his music that they picked up on? This is how he's committed his fucking crimes right here. Who was listening?
If he's known to be kind of like a kingpin, which it sounds like he was, then they're kind of trying to figure out a way to get to him.
So they start listening. Oh man, yeah. I feel sorry for whoever had to listen to all his
Keisha
songs to figure out his plans. That was a boring ass job.
You're so rude. So in 2016 in Lebanon, Pennsylvania was his second arrest, because remember now he's moved his operation there. So he goes to a hotel room and he tells us, I was in a room just like this, because wherever it was, they're like, you're not filming here.
Right.
He was dealing with some guy who kept putting him off 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. And he was like, I went to wash my face. I splashed my face and I looked up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was my inner person telling me, but I said, something's not right. Like, we're going to have to go. We have to go.
Yeah.
And it's like a horror movie. I was afraid he's going to splash his face and stand up and be like a person behind him.
DEA agent was behind him.
Yeah, right. And he says, he told the guy, we got to go. But he couldn't find his car key. So he's looking for his car key, like digging in his coat, looking under the bed. So he goes out to look for it to see if he dropped it on the ground. And there's a guy standing there, like reading a newspaper or something, like real old timey.
Yeah.
And then he sees another kind of dark van drive up. And he's like, I don't know what's going to happen. Now, if I was him, I'd be worried I'm about to be shot by another kingpin.
No lie. That's exactly what I would have been thinking. And then they never mentioned like where the fuck the key was. Because to me, I'm like, was the person he was with part of this sting operation and hid his key?
Oh,
that's what I was thinking.
And was it that car that's like a $120,000 car that we saw on the show? Was it that car?
Right. You have a lot of questions.
We have a lot of questions and we just never get answers. That's how it goes. So he says, it was DEA, and the guy's holding the gun to him. And he said, I guess the guy could see the look on my face, like maybe he was going to pull out a gun. Yeah, because he was confused. And the guy, he said he held his gun with one hand and pulled out his badge with another.
Right.
And we see his terrible mugshot, which he's so
It's
good looking. That was
bad.
terrible mugshot. He looks.
Yeah.
I think they had
I
roughed him
didn't
up
get
pretty
it.
good. I think they did.
It looks like they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lists all his charges. Okay. He never mentions once fentanyl. And they
And
never,
that's what he was huge for, was the fentanyl.
they also, the only person so far, we haven't seen them scroll the charges on the screen so that I can stop it and read it and write it down. They never scrolled them. And I think it's because it involves fentanyl and they don't want the backlash of having this guy on the show that was killing people actively, I'm sure.
Right. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. So he never mentions fentanyl. They don't show it. He got sentenced to 8 to 30 years. And he says, taking that time to reflect made me realize I was a bad person. And I was polluting the world. So that was a
You
little bit
were,
of a recognition,
but not fully, because you were actually killing people.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And he says, and no good karma will come from that. So he had to pull himself apart to come back stronger. And if you stay out of trouble while you do your time in Pennsylvania, they will reduce your time by 3 months for each year you're good, whatever. So he spent only 6 years in prison. But I think he was supposed to do 9, right?
Okay.
He was released in October 2022. We get some clips of that. He will be on parole until 2042.
Ooh, a long time.
One of the most important things he took from jail is don't squander your time, like enjoy your time, while you're out here. And he says he's been with Justine, Juju on that beat for 5 years, married in 2022. And he's like, and we just had a baby, Manhattan Barbie.
Yeah.
I was like, what about Millionaire Bills or the other baby?
Well, you said they recorded his in 2023, so the baby wasn't here.
I understand, but they knew when this was coming out. They could have put another line under it, is what I'm saying.
Remember, it always circles. Whenever we have a question about anything with production, it always goes back to one answer. Matt Sharp don't give a fuck about us.
Okay, that's right.
He's like,
that's
just
right.
take it. Take it.
That's right.
Take
Take
it.
what you get and
Take
be
it.
happy. Take what we're saying is truth. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah.
They just had a baby, and he said he wants to be an example to his 8 or 9 or 12 kids so they don't make the same mistakes that he did. Okay, well, you should get your anger under control,
No shit, because the stress of all this other stuff really got to him last season. It really did.
Yeah. The closing card says Michael has not had any legal issues since his release in 2022. He and his family live in Las Vegas, where he is pursuing his music career. Okay. Now we don't know.
He's going to be off parole, still saying the same thing, pursuing his music career. The baby's name is Million.
And then what's Million Banks?
Yes.
Wow. Million Banks.
There you go. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
I just went straight to the Instagram page.
See, you're smart. Milleon. So they're going to call him Millie, or they're going to call him Millz, or
something
what?
like that. Yeah.
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 That kid's probably 1.5 by now.
Maybe. Yeah.
Manhattan Barbie is entering those terrible 3s.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Scary. Because 3 is so much scarier than 2.
Terrible.
Yes.
3 is terrible. And you never know it until you're like, 2-year-old. Other people are so dumb. They thought 2 year was hard. My 2-year-old was so perfect. I'm like, get ready.
I agree. I always tell people, I was like, I don't know why they say terrible 2s, because 3s are so bad. They make you question everything. It's like, oh my God.
2, they're still so sweet and they love you. And 3, they become a complete nightmare. And then you're trying to potty train and it's awful.
They become straight up gangsters.
Speaking of, how's the potty training with the puppy going?
It is going pretty good. We are stuck at, how do we get him to tell us he needs to go to the bathroom?
Good luck.
We're still doing that every hour.
Ginger. Yeah, I'm still waiting on Ginger to tell me. We have the bell on the door.
Okay.
And Violet knows to go up and ring the bell, and then we go out.
Okay.
It's just it's hanging bells. You just get them off the Amazon or whatever. And Violet will sometimes get so pissed. She'll go up and ring it, and I'll go, oh, you need to go to the bathroom. I'm like, you don't need to go to the bathroom. And then she will go up behind that bell and ring it with her head, and it's like draped around her like a cape, and look
Oh
at us
no.
like you better get over here.
I need to go. I need
No,
to
no,
go.
she doesn't need to go. She just wants
She
to
just
sit on
wants
the
to go
porch.
outside, or
Yeah.
she just wants to go outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's where we are now. He's doing pretty good. He learned how to do the sit command.
You love it. I love it.
He knows the command, go get in your house.
Okay, love that.
Um, he's just so freaking cute. Like,
I
he is the
know.
cutest, sweetest little thing
Yeah.
ever. He's kind of getting out of that Tasmanian devil stage that he was
No,
in for a
no.
minute.
Yeah, but
He's calmed down.
it'll come back.
Like, he'll do it like certain hours. Like, there's certain hours of the day. Like, if they know James is not here,
Mhm.
they're like, we've been real sweet. We've tricked her up. And then they're like, let's burn this motherfucker down. And they just go, woo. The $2 were so bad the other day. They made me fall. They made me fall, rip a new shirt,
Ah,
and cut my elbow.
because you had them on a leash or something, and they tangled you up?
No, we were trying to go out the door. They were fighting underneath my feet. Like, it was dramatic. And it was a horrible fall because it wasn't just a fall.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm falling. Whoa, I'm not. Oh, no, I am falling. No, whoa, I'm not. No, I'm falling. And then fell. And then I was bleeding. But yeah.
I'm sorry, Keisha. Tell everybody what you're about to go do today, because I'm sure it will be covered on your podcast this week.
I am about to go see Dr. Now from my 600-pound life. And I'm
Are you paying for this? Are you paying for this?
No, but you like can buy stuff there, and then like if you want to take a picture, you have to buy the picture and all that kind of stuff.
You're going to do
But
that, aren't you?
yeah, I have to take a picture of it.
Okay.
And I need to say, like, Dr. Now, don't be talking about my weight. That's not why we here.
No, you should tell him that you lost like 100 pounds or something. You should tell him you're sorry.
No, because I don't want him to say, well, you can lose 30 more pounds, because that is his big thing, is 30 pounds, 30 pounds. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm very, very excited.
He is not going to tell you need to lose 30 pounds. You should brag on yourself and James and then suck it in and get a picture.
You don't know Dr. Now like I know Dr. Now.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And he will tell a bitch off in a second. And that is not what I'm there to get a hug and a little kiss maybe and take a picture and be on my happy way and then go eat.
Is he doing like a talk? About?
No, it's like an open house. Like, they didn't explain. I almost didn't get to go because, yesterday something told me to go look, and like they'd updated the thing where you had to RSVP to go. So then I go to RSVP and I had to get on a waiting list. I was like, holy shit. I started losing my mind. And then like hours later, like I get a text said, okay, now you can RSVP that you're going and this and that. Yeah. I was feeling real down in the dumps, and I was still going to go whether they let me in or not. I was still going to go take my chances. So yeah. And then as soon as we're done, we're going to go eat something really, really good.
Okay, good. All right, good. Well, I'm excited. So that will be the whole description of what happens with Dr. Now will be on your next show.
And we're also, I had to, if you listen to my show, I watched with love Meghan. So
Meghan Markle. Okay, all right. So I'm sure you'll be breaking her down because you're not a fan.
Not a fan at all.
Not a fan. Okay.
No, I'm not.
All right, everybody, go over and listen to the Libra Lounge with Keisha, the Libra Lounge with Keisha, and also follow her over on Instagram at the Libra Lounge with Keisha. You can just look it up that way. There's a lot of underscores there, but you'll figure it out.
No, you just type in Libra Lounge with Keisha and it'll pop up. And I must have been high when I came up with that whole underscore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can't change it. You can't change it.
I didn't know that.
I think just like one time, you could change it like one time.
Okay.
Also, do you want to touch on the fact that it is rumored and now confirmed that Sophie from 90 Day Fiance is dating Pedro?
Like, be so fucking for real now. Why?
I know. Interesting, right?
Why? Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, I'm not a big fan of Sophie. I did not watch her season, but I have watched her on Last Resort.
I like Sophie. I like her.
I don't know, but that is not likable about her to go date Chantel's ex.
Why not? Keep it all in the family. Get another show. I don't know. I like the hustle.
Okay.
I like that. He has a job. I mean,
he does have a job. Yes, he does. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
everybody follow us on Instagram, and I'll be back tomorrow to talk to Kimberly about 90 Day Fiance. And if you want the Love is Blind reunion recap, that will be over on Prime. This week, I have Brian Moylan on the podcast to talk pop culture and Bravo. And then, of course, Amy and I will be talking about 90 Day The Last Resort, which is a show that Sophie is on this weekend. And you guys, March 12th, which is Wednesday, is when the 10-episode drop comes out of Temptation Island on Prime. Amy and I have pre-recorded all 10 episodes. Temptation Island is so good. It's on Netflix, so woo! And I'm hoping to interview with Mark L. Wahlberg, my bestie, my personal therapist, will also be out maybe next week.
Nice. Very nice.
Okay, that's it. Okay, Keisha, have fun with Dr. Now.
Bye.
Bye.